And welcome to A Greater You Show here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. And I'm your host, Dr. Anthony L. Show, to help you become better and do better with things in your life and areas of your life. So I'm glad to be here again. This is IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station. And before we get started, if you get the opportunity, you can go to YouTube, IntellectualRadio.com, and you can please hit the subscribe button there, as well as hit the bell so you can be notified of all the great shows we have going on here. We have shows going on here Sunday through Saturday, mornings, afternoons, and evenings, from relationship shows to financial shows, coaching shows, entertainment shows, community activist shows, political shows, business shows, health shows, fitness shows, spiritual shows, religious shows. All type of shows. So you got a plethora of shows, a variety of shows, diversity, and a lot of great hosts. So you can actually follow those great hosts on other platforms as well. When you get connect with them, and you can connect with some of their shows here, as well as some of the things they do on some other social media platforms. So please do that, and we do thank you for that. Again, this is the Greater You Show, and it's a self-help show, coupled with a self-help book club, as well as a self-help coaching session, kind of all wrapped into one. So before I get started, I'm going to promote a couple of people here. And if you'd like to get promoted on any of the shows that I do here on IntellectualRadio.com, you can get in touch with me at fullofpurposemedia@gmail.com. That's fullofpurposemedia@gmail.com. So the first person I'm going to promote this particular show, Miss Mikey Graves. She's a real estate professional and also a credit specialist. And do you want or need to increase your credit score? If so, then you should contact Ms. Mikey Graves at 773-392-4600. Currently, over 70 million Americans have less than perfect credit. Ms. Mikey Graves teaches financial literacy in all 50 states. She would love to help you improve your credit and financial situations. It's not just credit restoration. The program Mikey Graves is part of includes many services such as power of attorney, wills, trust, credit identity theft protection, credit attorneys, and much more. For more information, you can contact Ms. Mikey Graves at 773-392-4600. That's 773-392-4600. Or Graves Realty Chicago. That's G as in great, R-A-V as in Victor, E-S, Realty Chicago.com. You'll also get a free consultation by mentioning that you heard about Ms. Mikey Graves and her business here on A Greater You Show here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station with the host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt. The next person we're going to promote is Mr. Emmett Farmer. He's an insurance broker. And are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or eFarmer, the number 2, eFarmer2 at Ameritech.net. Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is licensed in Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in other states also. If you are 65 and older, or if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options at 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425 or eFarmer2 at Ameritech.net. And you also get a free consultation by mentioning you heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer and his business here on the Greater You Show, A Greater You Show, here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station with your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt. And last person we promote this particular show, Pamela Denise. She's a real estate professional. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, an investor, looking to build your portfolio, or you're purchasing your dream home, Pamela Denise at Exception Realty is who you need to call. She has 24 years of experience and a team that is ready, willing, and very capable to assist in all of your real estate needs. You'll also get a free consultation by mentioning that you heard about Miss Pamela Denise on A Greater You Show here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station with the host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt. And again, for more information, you can contact Miss Pamela Denise at 773-447-8546. That's 773-447-8546 or info@keepitmoving.us. That's info@keepitmoving.us. Again, if you'd like to get promoted on any of the shows I do here on IntellectualRadio.com, you can contact me at fullofpurposemedia@gmail.com. That's fullofpurposemedia@gmail.com. So we are here for another episode of A Greater You Show. And if you're new to me and new to IntellectualRadio.com, this is again a self-help show, and we are in a series called "How to Get Financially Better," and it's based on the book that I written, More Money. And all of the shows that I do is pretty much based on the book that I have written or in the process of writing. And we are here to help you become a better person. So I always do a recap if you're new to me. So I'm gonna recap some of the things that we discussed thus far in this series. And lesson one, we came from chapter or lesson two in the book. So session one, I should say, we came from lesson two in the book, and we talked about the importance of having a budget, how important it is for you to have a budget, and the purpose of a budget is know how much came in and then know where it went after you touched it. So that's why we want to have a budget. We also talked about how important it is to operate your lifestyle on your net income, especially if you get paid a W-2 on your net income, not your gross income. If you base your income on your gross income, you're probably going to be in the red more often than you're going to be in the black. So we talked about how important it is to do that. Part two, we came from like lesson 5. We talked some things about how to actually pay yourself for it first. And, you have to pay yourself something, maybe $5 when you get started, maybe 5%, 10%, whatever it may be. But first you have to do is cut your expenses and find out where you're leaking or where you have holes in your budget, and then kind of seal those up so that you can actually use some of that money to pay yourself first. And you want to be in the front of the line. So we talked about some things like that. Session 3, we came from lesson 7, 8 in the book, and we talked some things about, you have to think like a bank, right? You want to be an investor, right? You want to invest, and you have to think about making money, M-A-K-E, and it's easier to do that when you do M-A-T-E. You have to make your money in order to make some money, and making money means you have to be making interest. So we focus on obviously we want to make interest, so we want to think like a bank, right? We want to find places on how we can make interest, and we talked about the rule of 72, and the rule of 72 is you divide any interest rate that you're getting off money, and then you divide that into 72, and using a simple compound interest system, you'll find out how many years it takes for your money to double. And on the other side, you can see when people charge you 18%, you divide that into 72, that's about 3.5 years, right? So every 3.5 years, their money is doubling based on the money that they loan you. So you want to be on the side where you're getting interest, because people that's more interested in making money charges interest, and people that's less interested in making money pays interest. And you need to know the difference between earning money and making money. So making money, we got to make interest. So we're in session 4 of this series, and we're going to talk a little bit about investing, because of the fact that we have talked about thinking like a bank and getting interest, because it's going to be hard to get interest on anything if you don't think about investing in anything. So you have to think about investing, and that's why it's so important to know the difference between the asset and the liability. Asset goes up in value and or produce income, or it does both at the same time, which is the best of both worlds. Or a liability goes down in value or take money from you, or it may do both of those at the same time, which is the worst of both worlds when you have a liability. So we want to have more assets than we have liabilities, right? Some things we might have to have a liability on, but we can't have this list of liabilities and not have a list at all of assets. So when we start getting assets puts us in a position where we can make some money, right? We can put some money with some other money and put ourselves in a position to actually M-A-T-E money, put money with money. Like the example I used last session, and I said that everything produces after its own kind. You put a female dog, male dog together, they have sex, they're going to make female dog gets pregnant, then they're going to have puppies, which are small dogs, right? You put a bear with another bear and they have sex, they're going to have a little bear, right? A little cub, right? That's usually what's going to happen. When you put a man and woman together, they have sex, and then the woman gets pregnant, then she's going to have a baby. She's not going to have a frog or a butterfly. She's going to have a little person. Well, same thing applies to money. You put money with money and it have sex or mate, then it can produce more money. Now, you may say, I put $100 with $100. It may not produce another $100. It might produce $5, $10. But your job and my job is to keep feeding that $5, $10, and let it grow up like a baby. We let a baby grow up, and then a baby eventually will turn into a young woman or a young man, and they'll go through this thing, what we call puberty, meaning that they are now in position to produce after their own kind too. It's kind of hard for a 5-year-old boy, 5-year-old girl. They can't produce at 5 years old because they haven't hit puberty yet. But once they get to puberty age, then they're able to reproduce after their own kind. But it's some of your money too, right? Some of your money, you may say, well, I got $5 from here, $10 from there. The $5 or $10 may not be doing anything, but if you keep feeding and adding to the $5 or $10, then it may get big enough to be $50 and it can go into an investment. It can be 20, it can be $100 and go into another investment. Why? Because it got big enough that now it can produce after its own kind, or it has reached a place called maturity or puberty, right? So it can actually do the same thing. So some things you need to know, just basic investing, right? I share with you that the word invest in the Latin language, it actually means to clothe in, right? Or surround in. So clothing is what we wear. And I gave the example that when you have clothing, if you only had one outfit and you tried to wear that outfit everywhere you went, you would be clothed, but that outfit won't fit every situation that you go into. You having on a nice ballroom gown as a woman or a black tuxedo as a man, yeah, that look good at black tie affairs, but that don't look good at the beach, right? Doesn't look good at the basketball game. It doesn't look good at the picnic. It doesn't look good at maybe going to work. You probably wouldn't go to work with a black tuxedo on and a ballroom gown, right? May not work out well there because those outfits don't fit the situation that you're going into. Well, the same thing is true when it comes to things, when it comes to investment vehicles. You need to find some things to make sure they fit where you're going into, right? So let's talk about this before we get into a few vehicles I'm gonna share with you, because there's a ton of vehicles out there and they're always evolving, but they're always out there. So we're gonna start off some things you need to know before you invest, right? And you want to keep these in mind. You might want to take some notes on these things as well. The first thing you need to do your homework. You need to do homework on anything that you're going to invest in. If you're going to invest in something, there's a requirement for you as the investor to do your homework on whatever you're going to invest in. If you're going to invest in stocks or bonds or whatever it's going to be, you're going to invest in real estate or business, whatever, you are required as the investor to do your work. And homework means find out what you are investing into. And this is how a lot of us get in trouble because we don't know these basic things. This is how we can get swindled out of our money. We get conned out of our money. Scams come, especially when times get a little bit desperate. Let's say, for instance, something happened in the whole market or the whole, we just say a society, and then everybody's searching for money. So now here come the scams, here come all these different things, how you can earn money overnight. You do this and you can have like $10,000 tomorrow, right? And so people just start putting this money in things and then find out 30 days later, they just lost $1,000. 30 days later, they found out they lost, $5,000. Why? Because they didn't do their homework on where they were going to invest. And that's one of the requirements that you have. You got to invest, you have to do your homework. And if you don't do your homework, then it's going to be you're going to put yourself in a situation that you're going to probably make more mistakes than not. Now, doing your homework does not mean that you have to know everything about what you're about to invest in. Right? By the time you learn everything about what you're going to invest in, man, investment might be something else then, right? It's not even, you can't get into it now because you don't have enough money because you wanted to sit around and do your homework on it for like 20 years. You don't need that much time. You need enough time to get enough solid information so you can make a move, so you can do something with it, right? So that's something that you need to do. You got to do your homework. Now, something else you need to do, not only do you have to do your homework, you have to watch the money. When you invest in something, you got to keep your eye on it, right? I'm not saying you got to look at it every day, all day, but you got to keep your eye on this thing, on this investment pretty much often, monthly, weekly, bi-weekly. You can't be looking at it every 10 years and say, I wonder what happened. No. So you got to keep your eye on it. So here's a little story. We're going to take this back. It's a made-up story. It's not about anybody. So I don't want y'all searching nobody out for this because it's not about anyone. But let's suppose back in the old days, before they had heating systems in the houses, right, into your homes, right? Everybody had a fireplace. So if you wanted to leave your house, it's getting kind of cold. But if you wanted to leave your house and go out and come back and want your house to be warm, you have these guys called the fireplace watchers, right? And again, this is a story, okay? So don't go look this up on trying to Google it up because there's no such thing. But anyway, so we're going to get this company. They call the fireplace watchers, right? And since they're the fireplace watchers, you can pay them to watch your fireplace maybe at night, so your house can stay warm, so you won't have to keep getting up putting logs in there. Or when you want to leave the house and everything, when you come back, you want your house to be warm. So this couple, these guys are fireplace watchers. So one time, this husband and wife, they wanted to go out and have dinner. It's not special night for them, anniversary or whatever it may be. So they go out. So they pay for the fireplace watch the fire, right? So they go out and have a good time. They come back and they little horse and carriage, and all that good stuff. And they know the fire trucks, fire people around putting out a fire. They see the smoke and everything. What's going on? What's going on? Well, it's fire going on. That's what's going on. They wonder, I wonder who house that is burning up, right? And they come to find out. They get closer to their house. It's their house that's burning up on fire. They cannot believe, like, man, what's going on? Fire people, they helping them out and they're getting this thing under control. So, you see the fireplace watcher, he's around there too. He said, man, I'm sorry. I fell asleep. The fire got out of control, man, burn your house down. I am so sorry. But, I got a couple of blankets in my car, in my little carriage and everything. And what I do is I can let you use the blanket, man. If anything, you need some food, something, man, maybe I can help you with some food. So, I apologize for your house burning up, right? That's not really doing you any good because, your house burned up now. There's nothing left, right? And I know this is a little facetious, but see, what happens is this is what happens with us with money. See, when you let somebody else watch the house or watch the fire, don't blame them if the house burned down. So if you start letting a bunch of other people watch your money all the time, don't blame them when there's no money when you're trying to get it out because you didn't keep your eye on it. You have to watch your money because you had to work for that money, right? Well, that means you have to watch the money that you work for. When you're going to invest in something, you got to watch it. Again, do you have to watch it 24 hours a day? Of course not. Do you have to watch it once every day? No. Do you have to watch it once a week? Probably not. But maybe once every month, you might want to take a peek at it and say, okay, it's still doing okay. That's still there. Because you don't need a fire happening. You put money in something at 35 years old and you say, I'm just keeping my money, put my money in there. And then you get ready to leave a job at 65 years old and they tell you, hey, you don't have that much money in there. You're like, well, hey, I put all this money in there, but you never watched it. You just figure when I get there, it'll be there, right? And that's how people take advantage of us because of the fact that we don't keep an eye on our money. And so if you're going to invest in something, you need to keep your eye on your money. You need to watch your money. That's why you did the homework. You need to see what's going on with your money and see if this thing is, bringing you any interest, right? So here's something that you need to understand with money and looking at money maybe just a little bit differently if you having a few challenges with it, but just looking at it a little bit differently in regards to this way, that every time money comes into your life, it's asking you, are you hiring? I say this last session to a certain degree. I'm just going to expound on it now. And, you get $1,000. There's $1,000, 1,000 of them saying, they all asking, are you hiring? Are you hiring? Are you hiring? And usually because we don't know how to make money, we say no to 1,000 times. Nope, 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 nope. We said that 1,000 times because we have $1,000 and these dollars asking us, are we hiring? Because see, all money wants to do in your life and in my life and our lives is go to work. Money just want to go to work. But if I never put it to work, then the money can't go to work for me. It's still going to go to work for somebody because I'm going to hand that money over, that $1,000 over to someone or a company or something like that. And then that company, that furniture company, that auto dealer or whatever, that mortgage company or credit card company, whoever I'm handing that money to, that money is going to go work for them now because I just handed over 200 of my employees that wanted to work for me. I just hand them over to, the local, department store or the credit card company or all these different places. Well, you have to realize that money is asking you every time you get it, do you have a job for me to do? And if I don't have a job to do, money leaves your life and it goes somewhere and find a job to do because money wants to work. See, here's the thing. With people, you can overwork people. None of us, you, me, and no one, we can't work all day, 24 hours, right? Just work, nonstop. You can't do it. I can't do it. And not trying to sound can't like a negative. You need to sleep sometime, right? You need to eat sometime. This is some things you need to do. Well, you can overwork people. Something else you can overwork. You can overwork machines, right? You can overwork, cell phones. You can overwork, computers, laptops, but engines. You can overwork all type of stuff, right? Those things can be overworked too. And then and when something is overworked, it just kind of like, that's it. The engine gone, right? The furnace over. It's been overworked, right? Well, see, keep this in mind. You can overwork people and you can overwork machines, but you can never overwork money. Money is the one thing on the planet that can never be overworked. Money is the one thing on the planet that loves being worked all the time. I don't love working all the time, right? You don't love working all the time. Even the machines, if you work them so much, they get hot. Like, in other words, cut me off, right? I'm getting hot. I can't take no more, right? Well, that's the same thing that happens. That doesn't happen, I'm sorry, with money. Money will keep working as long as you work it. Money will keep working for you. Money would never stop working for you as long as you keep working it. All money wants to do is work for you. That's it. Just want to work for you. So that means that we have to understand that we need to do some things so money can keep working for us. And now if we don't have that mentality, so that means that money asks me a question. What do you want to do? What do you have a job for me to do? Where do you want me to go? I have a job. You have a job. When we get money, we need to start bossing money around. If you don't boss money around, then it's going to be pretty hard for money to actually go to work for you. Now, a lot of people don't want you telling them what to do, right? They don't tell me what to do all day, right? So I'm tired of you telling me what to do. So, because people don't want to be told what to do, right? Sometimes even you can have your little pet, right? Your dog, your cat, or whatever, right? Your frog, whatever. Your dog sometimes look at you kind of like to the left. You keep telling them what to do. Get over there, sit on the dog. Look at like, man, I might bite you. You tell me that one more time, right? Because even animals don't want to be told what to do all the time. But money does not mind being told what to do. So that means that you and we have to start looking at ourselves as bossing money. You have to boss money around, the money that you get. Instead, don't look around trying to boss people around. That's too much work. But try to boss money around because money want to be bossed by you, at least the money that you get. So that means you have to actually start bossing it around, putting it someplace so it can actually make you some money. You have to put it in places where you getting interest. You have to put it in places where it's actually growing or helping you get assets, not liabilities. But you have to look at yourself as a money boss in order for that to happen. So your job is to work it, and just keep working it as long as you're on the planet. Now, let me make this disclaimer. Every dollar you get cannot be worked as far as to produce more money because you have expenses, right? You got to eat food, right? You got to eat sometime, right? You say, I'm not going to eat ever again. Well, you're going to probably die, right? Because you're not going to eat anything, right? So you have to eat something, right? You need some things. And I used the example that last session that every woman on the planet has the equipment to birth a baby, right? It has the equipment, meaning that they have what's needed to birth a baby. Men can't birth babies, right? But women have the equipment to birth babies. Now, does that mean just because every woman on the planet have the equipment that every woman on the planet would actually birth a baby? No, every woman on the planet will not birth a baby, even if they have the equipment for various reasons, right? That they won't birth babies, right? Well, some of your money won't birth any money after it. Again, some of your money have to pay for food. Some of your money have to pay for clothing. Some of your money got to take care of the kids' tuition. Some of your money got to take care of things, buying kids food for your kids and clothing for your children or whatever it may be, right? Some of this money is taking care of expenses, and it will not produce a baby, so to speak, a money baby, right? However, some of your money can actually do something to produce more money for you. Some of my money I have to work. And when I have to work it, I have to put it somewhere. Say it has to make me some interest somewhere, sometime. So this means that I need to understand some things in regards to this part of investing, right? Because I know I need to work it. You told me, Anthony, to think like a bank, right? You said, Anthony told me last week. He told me on the show, think like a bank, right? I got to make interest. I got you, man. I understand. So there's some things that we need to understand before we go into investing too, right? And we need to understand this system called fixed, what I call, I'm making it real simple now. So a lot of people in financial things, sometimes they complicate the matter of things, but it's fixed and unfixed investments. All right. So let me explain that. A fixed investment means that everything is fixed. How much you're going to put in, how much you're going to get back, when you're going to get it, all these different things, how much you're going to get when you get it, right? Everything is fixed. The interest rate is fixed on how much we're going to give you. We're going to give you 5%, 10%, whatever. We're going to give it to you in 3 years, 2 years, 8 years, whatever it may be. It's all fixed. Just look at your mortgage, for instance, or look at your car note, for instance. You say, okay, well, my car note is this, and the interest rate is 12%, and I pay $400 every month for the next 60 months, right? That's all fixed. Nothing would change with that. They don't say, okay, wait, it's going to be 13%, right? Or it's going to be 11%. It all stays the same. Well, that's how it goes out, obviously, in investing, is that everything, it's a fixed investment. There's no variables to it. It's going to always be that. An unfixed investment is there's no ceiling and there's no floor. It can be 100% today and be a negative 100% tomorrow, right? Because it's unfixed. You can put it, you put this much in, it can go up this high and go up and go down this low. So you need to understand that some investments are fixed investments and some investments are unfixed investments or investment vehicles. So if I don't know that, I might try to treat everything like, hey, I know this is an unfixed investment, but I want to know exactly how much again. I want to get this much and this. And they said, no, it doesn't work like that because this is the unfixed investment, right? But so you need to understand that these are pretty much two ways, and you can put all investments pretty much under these two categories. I don't care if it's a real estate property. I don't care if it's, stock or I don't care if a mutual fund, and gold, silver, whatever it may be. You can kind of put them all. They can fall under one of the two of these categories, right? And some of them can fall under both based on what they are. So you need to understand those things. So I need to do my homework. I need to understand what's the difference between a fixed investment and an unfixed investment. And I need to also understand that I need to work the money, right? I need to work it, and watch it. I need to keep my eye on my money. Because keep in mind, who went out and earned that money? You did. And now when you go tell that money what to do, I want you to go over there and be an investment over there. I want you to go over there and be an investment. You have to watch this. Not that the money will run off. It's that somebody may run off with the money, right? The money is going to work for you. But if you don't watch it, somebody may, convince that money to go somewhere else. And if you're not good with money, I use this example in some of my trainings and some of the coachings that I do in this space. And I said, for instance, like my daughter has a little dog, right? Little puppy, furry animal, whatever you want to call it. And so every time I come by her house, this dog loves me. This dog loves me, right? Dog jump in my lap, let me rub the dog for hours, right? If I stay there hours, the dog let me rub it for hours, right? Because the dog just loved me. But, every time my daughter make a move, like she moved to the door, his little head pop up, and little ears stick up, like all dogs do, these especially little dogs, right? And it's watch owner, right? And if she make a move to the door, that dog forgot about me. He jumps out of my lap and follow the owner. Now, see, this is what happened when you don't get good with managing money and owning money and working money. See, sometime when we get our checks from our companies or our jobs or whatever, businesses, sometimes all these companies do is hand us the check and let us pet the money. And we think it's odd. We pet, rub it on. It act like it love us, right? And then right when that owner whistle, that money jump out your pocket and follow them, right? And somebody said, man, that's why the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poor. Well, that could have something to do with it. And I mean, some other variables too. But that's what happened. The people that actually have the money, they give it to you and then we'll give it right back. You know why? Because we don't have anything for that money to do. And since we don't have anything for that money to do, that money goes back to people that it's familiar with so it can go out and work. Now, if you ever worked a job before, I worked a job before, right? And if you ever worked a job before, one thing about a job, a lot of times they say, man, if you haven't know anybody we hiring, anybody that need a job, one of your relatives, friends, you get $25, whatever, right? Whatever it is. And what people do, a lot of us get referred to jobs because of someone we know at the job. Someone else is there, a cousin, friend, mama, daddy, sister, brother, husband, wife, whatever, right? Somebody else is there at the company, and then they get us in, right? They get us into the company because of the fact that they're into the company. This is what happened with money, right? When money is working, right? Is that a job? You got a job for it to do? Money will go out there and find some of his friends and say, guess what? She's hiring, right? He's hiring. And all of a sudden, it's like, man, I got more money to invest. Why? Because you have money, you put money to work, and working money attracts working money. Keep that in mind. If you don't work the money, it's kind of hard to attract more money so it can go to work for you. Because just like you and I do, if a company wasn't hiring, we wanted to get a job there, and they said they weren't hiring, we would leave that place and go to another company that was hiring. We'd send our resume to another place, right? We'd go somewhere else that was hiring, and money does your life the same way. So once you understand these things about fixed and unfixed investments, now you put yourself in a better situation or a better position to actually do your homework better and be able to watch your money, because now you kind of know what to expect, because this is a fixed investment. And I know what to expect. This is an unfixed investment. So I have some expectations to do in regards to this money. So here's what we're going to do. So let's go over a few vehicles, right? Investment vehicles. There are a ton of vehicles out there, but with the basics, you just have to know the basics with a lot of things. If you know the basics with money, I know a lot of people complicate money, man. I tell you, I've been involved with finance for a long time, a few decades, right? And some of the things I hear people, man, when it comes to money, man, it's almost like you got to get a Ph.D. in, man, math or something, man. I mean, you can complicate the thing so, and you feel confused. This is why a lot of people don't want to deal with money, right? Because it's like, people trying to get me in this, and then they're trying to get me in that, and then all you need to do is do this. You make $1 million a month, and I'm all confused because everything sounds good, and a lot of things aren't, right? And then when somebody tell me the basics and everything, they're not that excited. Because basics are kind of like not that exciting, right? But once you learn the basics of finances, you can keep doing the basics of financing and adding on, but you got to stay true to the basics of finances and the basics of investing. You got to always do your homework on anything you invest in, anything and everything. That's a basic that you have to have. That's a basic that you need. I don't care if you end up getting more money and I had $1,000 to invest. Now I got $10,000 to invest. Now I got $100,000 to invest. You still have to do your homework on that investment. That's a basic that you must consistently and continuously do in your investment lifetime, right? Because we're gonna deal with money all of our life. You can be 70 years old and still invest. You can be 17 years old. You can be 21 years old. You can be 25 years old and still invest. You can be married with 3 kids and still invest. You can be single with no kids and still invest, right? You can be a man and invest. You can be a woman and invest. You can be a single parent and invest. It doesn't matter your situation. You can still invest, but one of the basics is do your homework, right? And then another basic is watch the money. Watch what you invested in. Don't try to watch everything that you haven't invested in. Watch what you have invested in. So I'm going to go over a few basic vehicles that you can have and why they're somewhat important. They can help you in your financial life, your financial present, as well as your financial future. And you may see, once I share some of these with you, what happened in your financial past that may cause your system be, your financial system be a broken system, just because maybe some things you didn't do in regards to your homework, right? So here's one for you. This is gonna sound real basic, and some people say, "Oh, you don't need one of these," and I'm gonna tell you why you probably shouldn't get one of these, right? That a savings account, right? Something as basic as a savings account. Most people don't have a savings account now. Years ago, most people had savings accounts, and they don't. Now, here's the thing. Now, keep in mind now, a savings account is a fixed investment. Now, they don't give you much interest on them. They're almost non-existent. They give you a little something. But the reason why savings accounts, I share people that they should have them, is to put themselves in a position that they can move to other things, right? Savings accounts are good to have, right? It helps with establish a discipline. See, here's the reality. Most people don't have a savings account, but they're trying to invest. My philosophy is before you start investing, you should know how to save. If you don't know how to save and you're trying to invest, you'll try to use your investment accounts as savings accounts. I mean, you'll put it in there today, take it out tomorrow. You can do that with a savings account because usually there's not any penalties and all those things. And it's like helping you put yourself in a position to be what I share with you last session as liquid money. So savings accounts are good for that reason, that they're very accessible. And then you can do some things or try to shore up some things if possible when you have a savings account, right? And again, savings account, what you're doing with a savings account at the bank, you're giving that bank permission to use your money. Now keep in mind, they're going to use your money to do what? Make some money. That's what they're going to use your money to do. They're going to MAKE some money, and they're going to take your money to MATE. They're going to make your money to help them make them some money, right? But when you have a savings account, now they're going to do this anytime anyway with a bank, right? But a savings account, they have to have permission now to use your money, right? So you're giving them permission to use my $100, right? Use my $1,000, right? That's what you're giving them permission to do. So that's a savings account. Small investment, fixed investment, Don't give you much interest, but it does create a discipline. Another thing that you can do, don't give you a lot of interest, is something called, it's similar to a certificate of deposit. You put this $1,000 in there, and you keep that $1,000 in there, and then in 12 months you get the $1,000 with 2% interest, whatever. Right? I'm just throwing out a number. Could be 1%, could be 4%. Right? Okay. Again, a fixed investment. This how much is there. This how long got to be there for you to get this much money. Right? All fixed. Everything is lined up. There's no variables to it. Right? And this is a place where people can kind of put some money that they know they may not spend, maybe $1,000. They don't know what else to do with it. They don't really want to have it in a savings account because they think if I have it in my savings account, I may take it out tomorrow. So it's a way that they can kind of put it somewhere until they want to do something and realize what they want to boss that money next, right? When they want to tell that $1,000 what to do. So that's something else you can have. Something else you can have is something like what is considered, this is a fixed investment as well. It's like a money market account. A money market account is like a temporary holding space for some people. Let's say if they sell a property or they sell some stocks or bonds or whatever, they put it in a money market account until they figure out what they want to do with it next. So it is accessible, but a money market account says you can only write it. You can't write, it comes like a check in this situation, but you can't write a check for $50, right? You got to write a check for at least $250 or $500 or $1,000 or $2,500 based on the money market that you have. So that means that you have to think about it first before you start putting your hand in this money market. You have to think, now, do I really just need to spend $50? Because I'm not going to write a $500 check, because it's only $50. I can't write a $50 check. It won't be. It could be considered null and void, right? So now I give you a chance to pause so you can kind of stop some of your impulse buying. Again, the interest rate is pretty much very, very low, 1%, 0.5%, pretty much non-existent, right? But it's something, right? And it helps with the discipline, because you keep hearing me say that you're going to have to be disciplined with your money. And these things will help you with some form of discipline yourself with the money that you have, right? Something else you can get that could be considered a fixed investment is something like what is called a bond, BOND. And a bond, it could be it's usually a government bond. It could be a corporate bond too, and I'm about to explain the difference to you. But a bond is you really acting like a bank with a bond. What you're doing is loaning the government money. When you buy a bond, it could be a municipal bond. It can be any type of bond the government have, or a corporation may say that I'm selling some bonds for my corporation. And really what you're doing, you have a credit interest in that company, or a credit interest in that country, or a credit interest in that city, or a credit interest in that state. A lot of times when states want to do more stuff, or they want to, build a new building or build a stadium, or, do something in their city or state, they start selling bonds. And then, these bonds, now they may not be 100 years before they mature. Now I'm just being facetious, not that long. But the bond may say, okay, you put this, you buy $1,000 bond, and in 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, whatever it may be, longer term, it's going to be, $2,000, right? But it's going to take some time. So when you look at the interest, you might have got 4% a year when you kind of look at how long it took for the bond to mature, right? But it's a credit interest in a company, or a credit interest in a government or the state or whatever. So a lot of countries may buy bonds in another country, right? So a lot of times, because that's a bond, that's a fixed investment, right? Everything is fixed. You're going to put this in, you're going to get this at this time, at this interest rate, all fixed, no variables, right? Regardless of what happens, that's what you're going to get. And if you cash it in before that time, then this is what's going to happen, right? So these are all bonds, right? Those are a way that bonds work. Now, remember what I said. That's a credit interest in a company, or a credit interest in the actual country, right? A credit interest. Keep it in mind. I got an interest based on credit that I gave you. I gave you credit so that you're going to give me my money back. Just like the bank, they give you credit for your car and your house. They lend it. That's a credit, right? They loaning you money. And we want our money back after this many years or this many months, right? That's the same thing with when you start buying bonds. Now, something else you can get into is a stock, right? And you people, man, you need to get in the stock, man. You need to play the stock and all this stuff. Get in the stock market. And a stock is an equity interest in the company. So you put some money in a company, right? You say, I'm going to give you $100. I'm going to buy a share of your stock. And so the reason why it's called an equity interest, because see, now this is not a fixed investment. You can put your $100 in this and buy this stock. And if this stock go bankrupt and then don't earn any money, you just lost your $100, That's how I went, right? If it earned $5,000, then you got $5,000 worth of value because you got the stock, right? You got one share worth $5,000 now. Hey, so you earned a bunch of money from it, right? But see, it can go as high or go as low as it want to go, but it doesn't mean that it has a fix on it. So it's an unfixed investment. Now, people get scared of stocks, and you know why? You should be afraid of stocks when you haven't done your homework, right? So what ends up happening? People just investing in stocks. Somebody said this is hot. You should get into it. This is hot. Person have no idea what you're talking about, but they say, I guess I got to invest in that because they say it's hot, but you can't even explain it. You don't know what it is. So this, and then you haven't done your homework. So you should not invest in anything until you've done your homework on it, right? So a lot of people may ask themselves or ask people, how do I buy a stock? How do I know a good stock for me to buy, right? Well, this is what I share with people. This is how I started years ago. Because I don't know what to buy. They said technology gonna be hot. Well, I'm not into technology. I don't know what's gonna be hot or not. I mean, I guess it's gonna be hot. Sounds good. They said, they found oil in the on the bottom of the sea. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess they don't know how to drill for oil. Right? So I guess that's right. Hey, they don't do this with the whatever, right? Meat prices or whatever. I don't have nothing to do with no meat. I just buy it, right? I don't know what they're doing with this machine or what that machine or this particular thing. So what happens is it paralyzes you because you don't know what to do, right? So this is what I started doing, and I suggest that you can do the same thing. If you go in your house right now today, and you look in your cabinets, your kitchen cabinets, your bathroom cabinets, or anywhere you go in your house, half of the things, about 50% of the things that you have in your house is probably on the stock market. You may buy a certain brand of toothpaste. You may buy a certain hair product. You may buy clothing, a certain brand. You may buy your clothes from a certain place. You may buy your groceries from a certain grocery store. You may buy certain things at the grocery store. Chances are over half the things in your house is on the stock market. Now, why is this important? Because you've been buying that toothpaste for the last 15 years. Your homework is already done, meaning that part of my homework is how long has the company been out there? How long have they been producing? Have they been producing more of it? Are they still out there been doing it? Do they have a track record, right? They've been out there 15 years. You've been using this toothpaste for 15 years. Guess what? It got a track record because every time you go, there's a whole shelf of the same toothpaste you buy, the same deodorant you buy, the same pair of shoes you buy, or the same type of meat you buy. And guess what? They got that store that you get it from. That store is open. If you go look, that store is probably whoever owned that, whatever company owned that store, is probably on the stock market. So now you can invest in things. So now you want to get paid when it comes to the stock market. You want to learn how to get paid on both sides of the aisle. Now, you like to buy this fast food. Ooh, that's my favorite fast food place, right? And you in there every day buying coffee, or you in there every day buying a burger or whatever you buying, chicken, right? But you only on one side of the counter. You spend your $5, your $10, and everything in that hamburger place or whatever it is. But see, if you had a stock, every time you bought that coffee, you know that you helping your stock grow. See, this is how you start investing. Now you're not bamboozled or hoodwinked, I should say, led astray because of the fact that people said, this is hot. You need to get in it. You need to put all your money in it. You need to take all your money out of there and put it in this thing. And you don't have no idea what this thing is all about. But you do have an idea on that toothpaste you buy. You do have an idea on that soap buy, on that laundry detergent you buy, on that dishwashing liquid you buy, on that cleaning products that you purchase, right? You have an idea on those. You may buy your certain vitamins. You may buy your insurance from a certain company. That company might be on the stock market. So that means every time you pay for your insurance, you're helping your stock. See, this is easy. You've been with this insurance company for 5 years, 8 years. Your mom and daddy was with this insurance company. And they mom and dad, this insurance company been out a long time. Why don't you buy some of that stock then? You believe the insurance company, tell everybody, this your insurance from here. I've been with this insurance company 20 years, man. My mama was with this insurance company 20 years before me. But then you don't invest in the stock that insurance company, you just going to pay the payments. You're just going to pay a bill in it and not actually but get yourself on the other side and buy your share stock here and there every 2 months so you can help yourself out because you already done the homework because you only been with the company 15 years, right? So this is how I started. I just started looking in my cabinets and my kitchen cabinets and looking in my house and what stuff that I used that I believed in, right? Because I'm using it. I think it works. That's why I use that detergent. I think it works for me, right? So this is why I actually buy that or use that. This is why I actually buy this certain gas for my car. Why? Because I think they got the best gas in the whole wide world. Well, if I think that so much, why don't I buy a share of that stock? I'm always at the gas pump with buying that gas from that same company every Friday. Well, you know what? I've been doing that for 8 years, 7 years, 3 years. Wouldn't it have been nice if I've been doing that and buying a share of stock in that company too? See, this is once you start doing simple things like this, basics, right? I know that it works. Now, if they start taking that brand of toothpaste off the shelf, oh my God, my favorite toothpaste is gone, right? Well, that don't mean people gonna stop brushing their teeth because your favorite toothpaste is gone. You're gonna say, well, I guess I got to buy this other brand. They've been on the shelf too about 15 years. And then guess what you can do? You can invest in that stock too. So you can invest in this one, of this brand and this brand. Why? Because of the fact that you see them on the market. You have seen them for a while, a length of time. They're not brand new to you. They're not what's hot. They're what's been out a while. And that's one of the benefits of being in the stock market. You buying things that's been out a while. Something else you can do, because that's buying a shared stock one at a time. You can buy something called what it's called. They change the names of these things all the time, but it's really called a mutual fund, right? And a mutual fund is pretty simple, right? Mutual, you and I fund money. You and I put money in a fund in the same place, right? So this mutual fund, what a mutual fund does, it buys a lot of shares of stock. It buys stock in that, stock in that, stock in this, stock in that, right? And it's all in the mutual fund, right? I'm doing the summarization. So the thing with the stock, if I invest my money in this stock and the stock go bankrupt, I lost all my money because I invest my whole $100 in the stock. But the mutual fund, I can invest $100 in the mutual fund, and that mutual fund may invest in 25 stocks. So that means that for me to lose money, all 25 of those companies have to go bankrupt at the same time, compared to my one company that I bought stock in. It can go bankrupt, then I lose all the money, right? So you can have a variety of these. Now, again, a mutual fund is an unfixed investment. It can be 0% today. It can be 30% tomorrow. That's just some of the things that can happen because it's unfixed. These are some of the things that you can have. Something else you can have is called an annuity, right? And you can get these from insurance companies, right? An annuity puts you in a situation where you can, when people win the lottery a lot of times and they're getting paid for 20 years and all this, that's in an annuity. Every month on the 5th of the month, you get $1,000 check for the rest of your life. They have that in an annuity, right? That's what you can purchase your own annuity. Right. So you can say, hey, I'm going to retire in 10 years. I want to retire in 10 years, or I'm going to pay my house off and whatever it may be. And now I can put my money into an annuity. So when I get 50 years old, I can get this. When I get 55, I can get this. Or when I get 25, I can get this. Right. And you can do that for yourself. When I get 75, another check come every month for $200 for the rest of my life. Right. Or whatever it may be. Right. So you can have several of these things going on all the time. And this is how you diversify what you have going on. Right. Obviously, there's a lot of vehicles that you can use. There's a lot of vehicles that's out there. These are just some of the basics that you can have. And once you get the basics, my thing is you should always keep the basics, right? You shouldn't try to alleviate the basics. You just build on to the basics. You don't try to eliminate the basics, because you eliminate the basics, you eliminate the foundation. You eliminate what's going to stand up everything else. So knowing what's fixed and unfixed, and the older you get, you don't need to be playing around in a bunch of stuff that's just unfixed, that is actually running you ragged, because you don't have the same time. You're 70 years old and you up there trying to play in stuff that's unfixed. You might say, I'm put all my money in there, and then look up tomorrow, it's all gone. But give it enough time, it may come back, but it may come back in 8 years. You may not be in 8 years, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't be young and not be here, but a 25-year-old got a better chance of getting to 35 than an 85-year-old trying to get to 95, right? You understand what I'm saying? So when you're older, you want to try to have more fixed investments, because fixed investments guarantee that you're going to have your original sum that you invested. So if you invested $1,000, you won't lose your capital, your principal amount, right? Now, an unfixed investment, you can lose it all, or you can gain 1,000%, right? But see, it may go down 1,000%. So that's why you need to understand the difference between the two. So I said a lot. And the last thing is, and we'll talk more about this, is protecting money. And that's how you use insurance, right? You have to use insurance, and insurance job, and I'll elaborate on a little bit more next session, but insurance job is to protect money that you have and protect money that you don't have. And here's what I mean. You have insurance and you're protecting your income. You got, let's say, for you have a car insurance, and somebody hit your car, somebody steal your car, whatever. Right? We just say they hit your car, right? And it costs $5,000 to fix it. You have $5,000 in the bank, right? Or you have it under the mattress at home. But because you've been paying your insurance premium every month, what ends up happening, you say, hey, I'm not going to use my $5,000 because I've been paying y'all $50 every month. So you all can, take care of that. You all take care of repairing my car for $5,000, right? So it protected the income you have because you didn't have to use your money. Now, I said it protects income that you have and don't have. So let's say, for instance, you don't have $5,000 and you need to get this car fixed. Well, because you've been paying insurance, the insurance company going to pay the $5,000, minus the deductibles and all that. But they're going to pay the $5,000 to fix your car. You didn't have $5,000. You just had a $50 a month payment. That's what you had. You didn't have $5,000. So the insurance, all insurance, again, basics, right? All insurance, you should look at it all that way to protect the income that I have and income that I don't have. I get homeowners insurance. I may not have $100,000 to replace this house. So I'm going to pay you all $100 a month, just get my house burned up, tree fall on it, whatever, right? That you all going to repair my house and make it brand new again, right? That's what I want you to do. My life insurance the same way. Listen, I'm going to live. I know I got to die. We all got to get up out of here, right? Well, I got life insurance so that, I might have $100,000 to leave my family. But how about if I don't? So I'm going to pay y'all every month $100 just in case I get out of here early. Then my family have $100, right? And I'll talk more about life insurance in another session. But those are some of the ways you look at insurance. Medical, same way. I don't have $50,000 to do no surgery. So I pay you all $200 a month. So if I had to go get that surgery done, you all going to pay for it, minus my co-payments, all that stuff, right? Deductibles. That's how you look at insurance. It's protect money that I have and protect money that I don't have. That's how we look at insurance. And that protects our incomes, right? That protects the money that we have. And obviously, that's the reason why we want to invest, right? It protects those things. Investing so I can make money, so I can have what I put into it. But I can diversify. I can have me some stocks. I can have me some bonds. I can have me an annuity. I can have all these different things. I have me a savings account. I can have me a money market. I can have a variety of these things. This is why you won't have to come to the party with your one black tuxedo on or your one black ballroom dress, right? Because you got more than one outfit. Remember, investment, clothing. You have more than one clothing item that you can wear based on the situation that you're in. What you need a money market for may be totally different what you need a stock for. What you need a stock for may be totally different than what you need a bond for. What you need a bond for may be totally different than what you need a mutual fund for, or whatever it may be, right? Or real estate, all these different things, right? So it's based on your investments that you have. You want them to fit certain areas of your life or certain situations that you may come across. So I said a whole lot. Wow. And I need to get ready to close this out. And before I do, I'm going to promote a couple of people. And again, if you want to get promoted on the show, on the shows I do here on IntellectualRadio.com, you can get in touch with me at fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com. So the first person we're going to promote is Miss Mikey Graves. She's a real estate professional as well as a credit specialist. And do you want or need to increase your credit score? If so, then you should contact Miss Mikey Graves at 773-392-4600. That's 773-392-4600. Currently, over 70 million Americans have less than perfect credit. Ms. Mikey Graves teaches financial literacy in all 50 states, and she would love to help you improve your credit and financial situation. It's not just credit restoration. The program Ms. Mikey Graves is part of includes many services such as power of attorney, wills, trust, credit identity theft protection, credit attorneys, and much more. For more information, you contact Ms. Mikey Graves at 773-392-4600. That's 773-392-4600. Or Graves Realty Chicago at gmail.com. That's Graves is spelled G as in great, R-A-V as in Victor, E-S, Realty, R-E-A-L-T as in top, Y, Chicago, C-H-I-C-A-G-O at gmail.com. Graves Realty Graves Realty Chicago at gmail.com. You'll also get a free consultation by mentioning that you heard about Miss Mikey Graves and her business here on A Greater You Show here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station with the host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt. Next person is Mr. Emmett Farmer. He's an insurance broker, insurance professional. Are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent broker, and he can be reached at 773-908-9425 or efarmer2, efarmer the number 2, at ameritech.net. Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can assist you as well. He is licensed in Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in other states also. If you are 65 and older, or if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options as well. Again, for more information, contact Mr. Emmett Farmer at 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425, or efarmer2, the number 2, efarmer, EFARMER, the number 2, ameritech.net. You'll also get a free consultation by mentioning that you heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer and his business here on A Greater You Show, here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station with your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt. And the last person we'll promote this particular show, Ms. Pamela Denise. She's a real estate professional. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, an investor looking to build your portfolio, or you're purchasing your dream home, Ms. Pamela Denise at Exception Realty is who you need to call. She has 24 years of experience and a team that is ready, willing, and very capable to assist in all of your real estate needs. You'll also get a free consultation by mentioning you heard about Ms. Pamela Denise on A Greater You Show here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Station with your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt. Again, for more information, you can contact Ms. Pamela Denise at 773-447-8546. That's 773-447-8546, or at info@keepitmoving.us. That's info, INFO, at KEEP as in Paul, IT as in top, MOV as in Victor, ING as in great.us, at info@keepitmoving.us. Again, if you want to be promoted on the shows I do here at IntellectualRadio.com, you can contact me at fullofpurposemedia@gmail.com. That's full, FULL, OF of purpose, PURPOSE, media, MEDIA @gmail.com. So to do a recap, again, we talked about actually that you have to do your homework. You have to do some basics in order to work the money that you have. Money is always asking you, do you have a job for me to do? Right. So this is why we need to understand that we have to put money to work. We got to become we need to boss money around. People call themselves a money boss. We need to boss money around, tell money what to do. You can overwork people, you can overwork money, but you can never, ever overwork money. Right. So you can't work all the money that you get, but you can work some of the money that you get and put it to work so it can actually produce more money for you. We talked about some of the vehicles that you can put your money in, from savings accounts to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, things of that nature, annuities, money market accounts, all those type of things. So those are some basic vehicles. You got to do your homework if you're going to invest in anything. And you can start with things in your house. Whatever you buy a lot of, see where you can actually put your money in because you've been buying it for 10 years. And do your homework and watch your money. So I said a whole lot. And keep this in mind before I close, as I close, I should say. Keep in mind that great people like you have been born great. However, working on yourself will help you become a greater you. And I'll see you next time. All right, Facebook, thanks for being on. Do appreciate it. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing here because I'm kind of 8 of my time. So thanks a lot.